Let's take a look at the map window in Addictive Drums 2. What the map window is going to do for you is help you to map MIDI controls from your keyboard or your electronic drum kit to kit pieces in Addictive Drums 2. To get to the map window, we can go to the top right corner of Addictive Drums 2 and click this question mark and just select Map Window. And there are 8 sections to the map window. We have the map preset, global velocity, the kit piece selector, the kit piece controls and velocity controls for that kit piece, keyboard view, stroke type list, and this section where we can OK our map settings, cancel them, save them as default, and then we have advanced settings. We'll cover advanced settings in a second video about the map window, so let's focus on the rest right now. The map preset window gives you a number of presets for various controllers, and by default it's set to Addictive Drum 2 Standard. In many cases, this will work with your controller right off the bat. However, by clicking this, you get a menu of choices, and you see you have a variety of standards from various manufacturers, like Alesis, Megadrum, Roland, and Yamaha. So if, for example, you have a Yamaha electronic drum kit, you could choose that model, or you could choose a Roland model, like one of the TD kits. You could choose GM drums, General MIDI, or you could start from scratch with an empty map, and then you can build it to your needs. If and when you modify a map, you could save it, you could give it a custom name, and then you could use it as needed. I'll work with the Addictive Drum 2 Standard to start. To the right of this map preset, we have global velocity. This is going to control velocity for all kit pieces. And what we could do is limit high velocities just by dragging this down. So now we'd only have a range of low velocities. We could limit low velocities so that now we only have high velocities, or we could do something in between. And then we have the kit piece selector section. This is just like the kit piece selector in our edit window, which we learned about earlier. With a selected kit piece, we can look at kit piece controls. You have the kit piece slot controls just like you did in the kit piece editor, as well as the edit window. And then we have the velocity curve for each individual kit piece. Now this is the standard velocity curve, and what this graph represents is the proportion in which incoming velocities from your controller, how hard you hit a drum or a key or a pad, and what's going into Addictive Drums. Right now it's pretty linear, but you could change it to some preset curves, limit, softer, harder, and so on. A harder velocity curve means that incoming velocities are going to create higher velocities in Addictive Drums 2. Conversely, if you had a softer velocity curve, you'd have to hit your drums or keys or pads a lot harder in order to achieve a high velocity in Addictive Drums 2. And you can reset it to default. You could also grab these handles and customize your velocity curve. Pretty simple. And you can also audition this as you play along with it, either by clicking this or by tapping on the pads on your controller. So you can hear the results as you edit. Below the kit piece slot and kit piece selector, you have your stroke type list. Now for some drums, like your snare drum, you may have a lot of stroke types, and each of these is going to be mapped out to a different note or pad. So if I jump over to the keyboard view, we can scroll through and we can see we have certain notes on the keyboard already set up for various stroke types on the snare. If I want to set this up the way I like it, I could do that by using Learn. Now I've got a MIDI keyboard here and it's got some pads and I want to customize that. If I click Learn, and then I tap the pad I want to use for snare open hit. Got that. Now I'll make the next pad over my snare shallow rim shot, so I'll hit Learn. Okay, learned it. Now I want the next one to be sticks, so I'll hit Learn. Pretty simple. If I'd like to save that, I could save it as my own preset. And I could do this for all of the pads on my keyboard, or I could do it for keys, just by using the Learn function. And I can do it for each kit piece, just by selecting the kit piece, choosing Learn, then strike your drum pad or play a key on your keyboard. Now we took a glance at the keyboard view, and this gives us a map of where each kit piece and stroke type is located on your keyboard. We can scroll up and down with this little focus button. Just click and hold. If you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you can just scroll up and down. And you can assign stroke types to notes on the keyboard not only by Learn, but also by clicking and dragging. So I'll assign the kick, and kick is already assigned. But if I want to assign the kick to a specific note, I can just click and drag it to a note. And I'll drag my snare open hit to an adjacent note. There you go. Now I have kick and snare right next to each other, the very bottom two notes on my keyboard. And even though I have kick and snare here, you'll notice if I scroll up the keyboard map, I also have kick and snare here. It's really the same note, but it may be convenient to have it in two locations, especially if you have a compact keyboard, maybe 25 or 49 keys. You don't have to octave up and down if you map your kick and snare and various kit pieces to various locations on your keyboard. Pretty handy. And again, if you make modifications to this, make sure you save it as a preset. If you don't want to save changes, you could just come down to the bottom right and click Cancel. Or you could reset just by going up to Presets and choosing Empty, and then choose 82 Standard or whichever one you were using. So that's how easy it is to map your various controllers, electronic drum kits, keyboards, and so on in Addictive Drums 2. In our next video, we'll explore the advanced settings in the map window. Thanks for watching.